The easy answer, the Carrera is the better watch if you have the money to spend to get one. If you don't have the money to spend to get one, then the Olympia is the better watch, but we don't want to end the video like that, do we? So what is the goal of a comparison between two very similar watches in two very different price categories? I've thought about this for a while, and I think the most effective use of our time together for this episode is if I address these 4 questions. 1. Negligent of price, what are the similarities? 2. Negligent of price, what are the differences? 3. Is the Carrera 6 times better of a watch than the Olympia because it's 6 times the price? And 4. Could the Olympia replace the Carrera or any other luxury chronograph in a collection? In this episode, I will address these 4 questions and I will give my final thoughts at the end. I've done individual reviews of these watches on my channel. I will link them below for anyone wanting to do a deeper dive, but just a quick recap. The Carrera Glassbox collection is a beautiful modern reinterpretation of Jack Heuer's original design. Case diameter is 39mm, lug to lug is 46mm, case thickness is 13.86mm, and the lug width is 20.7mm. This watch features a sapphire crystal, 100 meters of water resistance, in-house movement that beats at 4 Hz with an 80-hour power reserve. The Olympia is the second chronograph developed by famed NYC-based neo-vintage micro-brand watch manufacturer, Laurier. Case diameter is 39mm, lug to lug is 46mm, case thickness is 13.8mm, and the lug width is 20mm. This watch features a domed Hesalite crystal, 50 meters of water resistance, a seiko/TMI movement that beats at 4 Hz with a 45-hour power reserve. Let's start with the similarities. Both watches are almost identical in case dimensions. Both watch cases are constructed from 316L stainless steel. Both watches house a mechanical chronograph movement that beats at 4 Hz. Both make use of column wheels and vertical clutches with bidirectional rotors for perpetual winding. Both movements have hacking seconds and both feature date complications, but the Olympia does not have a date window. Neither movements are chronometer certified. Both watches' pushers have excellent tactile feedback. Neither of these chronographs are flybacks. Both watches embody a vintage 1960s design aesthetic. Both watches have not so great lume, and if we're comparing the Olympia to my Heuer CBS 2216 Panda reference, both watches come standard with a stainless steel bracelet and a stunning Panda dial. Other than the brand, the biggest difference between these two watches is the crystal. Laurier is known for their commitment to period-correct design by using Hesalite for almost every watch in their collection. For those that don't know, Hesalite is just a fancy word for plastic. There is a noticeable difference in how the light refracts with the Hesalite crystal. The Olympia definitely has more perspective distortion when looking at the dial from the side. Both watches have a bezel, but the Olympia's bezel is exposed and made of Hesalite. The Carrera's bezel is covered by the crystal. The dial aperture for both watches is 30.4mm, but the Olympia presents a little smaller and I think has more perceivable dimension because of the exposed bezel. For those that are new to the channel, perceivable dimension is a term that I made up that addresses watches that wear smaller than their proposed case dimensions. For example, the first Pittsman is also a 39mm watch, and the dial aperture is larger at around 34-ish millimeters. The Pittsman presents larger than its proposed size when looking down. Turning the watch over, both watches have different case specs. The Carrera is exhibition and the Olympia is solid. They are both screwbacks, but the Olympia is rated at 50 meters of water resistance compared to the Carrera's 100 meters. The crowns are also different. The Olympia's crown is screw down and the Carrera's is a standard push-pull. The movements are similar in spec, but the biggest difference is the power reserve. The Carrera is at 80 hours compared to the Olympia's 45. From my experience, having a longer power reserve is ultra convenient, especially when you want to switch watches on the weekends. The Carrera will always be ticking away when I go to grab it from my Monday meetings. The Seiko movement is 34 joule. The Heuer movement is 33 joule. As far as accuracy, after 24 hours resting at the 9 o'clock position, the Carrera is 5 seconds fast and the Olympia is 5 seconds slow. The one most annoying difference between these two watches is the lug width. I 1000% prefer the Olympia's 20mm lugs for easy strap changes. The Carrera's lugs is at 20.7mm, and in order to get a strap with a perfect fit, you need to buy straps sold exclusively from Tag Heuer. Luckily, I do love the straps Tag makes for the Carrera, but still, would love to use a wider assortment of straps from my collection to mix and match, keep it fresh. If you don't mind the annoying gap, liberate yourself and use whatever 20mm straps you want. I like both bracelets, but they each have their own subjective flaws. I like the seamless clasp and the polished center links of the Carrera bracelet. I don't like how there is no micro adjust for the Carrera bracelet. I don't like how the Carrera bracelet is sized with pins. I do like the Laurier bracelet. The whole thing is brushed, which is kind of boring, but I do love the aggressive taper. The clasp is pretty standard run-of-the-mill, but I do appreciate the 3 positions of micro adjust for exact sizing. Both bracelets have great pros and cons. Neither bracelet is bad. The biggest question is, at least to me, when reflecting on this episode, is the Carrera 6 times the watch because it's 6 times the price? I think the better question to ask, what would it take to make the Olympia worth 6 times more than it is now? We've seen with other micro brands and independents that adding a sapphire crystal and upping the water resistance wouldn't do much to increase its value because most other brands make watches where those things now come standard. So what would it take for the Olympia to be worth 6K? Laurier would need to have some in-house movement technology. Horology at its core is really about the movement. It's the study and measure of time. Tag Heuer has had a shaky history with movement tech in the past using third-party movements, but I think modern Tag right now is taking the proper steps to regain trust within the community. Tag Heuer has heritage. Founded as Heuer in 1860, they've maintained their relevance, most recently replacing Rolex as the official timekeepers of Formula One. Laurier was founded in 2017, so there is a 157-year difference in age between the brands. Heritage plays a large role in watchmaking, and it would be impossible for Laurier to make up over 150 years of brand ethos and relevance. So, what is the premium you're paying for with the Tag? Laurier produces a very well-finished watch, especially for the money. Tag has an extensive backlog of design references to pull from their 150-year catalog. The Olympia is a modern, reinterpreted collage of classic vintage watches. The modern Carrera is a reinterpretation of one of Jack Heuer's original designs. So in summary, what you're paying for with the Tag is a more vertically integrated watch with in-house movement tech, direct lineage to the brand's heritage and older references, and whatever status that comes with owning a Tag in today's society. If any of that matters to you, then the Carrera's price tag is justified and the purchase is rationalized within the context of these parameters. If you don't care about any of that then bruh. The Olympia is sick and 1000% worth every penny of that $900. Could the Olympia replace a luxury chronograph in a collection? The answer is yes. I think the Olympia is an example of a watch from a micro brand that punches way above its weight. The design aesthetics do really good for the consumer, and I think will definitely scratch the itch for those wanting a neo-vintage mechanical chronograph, especially at its price point. Also, I believe in Laurier as a brand, and I believe they are going to continue to innovate and create timeless pieces for their audience at a reasonable price. I've decided that I'm going to keep my Carrera because heritage and taking steps towards vertical integration do play a role in my decision making for my personal collection. I've wanted a modern Glassbox in my collection pretty much since I started this leg of my channel, and now that I have it, it'll be hard for me to let go. It was really nice to be able to get to spend some time with these watches and get to learn about the things that I like about watches, the things that I don't like about watches. What are your thoughts? What do you think that you would do if you were in a situation like this? Would you keep the Laurier? Would you keep the Tag? Let me know in the comments below. I'm excited to hear what you think. I have a few more videos coming out later this month. Please stay tuned for those. Hit like and subscribe if you like the content. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.